Let's see here.
Oh yeah, whoa. Look, they can never keep me down, I'm going. And if I ever fail, just know I'll go again. I never quit, cause I know that every loss may lead to another win. I'm going up. I bet when I land, they gon' tell me it's luck again. See that I'm winning, it's harder to watch. I'm setting the stage, you should give me my prize. You ain't got a soul, you lacking the spirit. You talk out your neck, I'ma show you I'm with it. I've been really happy you to sit and watch me win again and win again and win again. I know it's probably getting on me and when I'm synonym. So if I ever win again, just know I did the minimum. I didn't have to sell my soul. Oh, please don't play no games with me. It was never about the fame to me. They needed the best, so they came to me. Whoa, who the best in this thing? Tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the vibe, say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. My girl's so proud of your boy when they ask, is that your man? Yeah, that's me. And if I'm taking a shot, I don't miss. Who knew I would be at the top like this? And no one made my goals for me. But I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. Cause it's the path that God chose for me. So even if some doors close for me, I still won't let y'all close to me. So please step back where you're supposed to be. Put the game all on hold for me. And sit back, watch me roast the beat. It's in my genes, I'm better than them. And I know my flow too sick, I got the medicine. I'm way at the top, who could take my place? I went too hard, can't feel my face. Whoa. Best in this thing, tell them, yeah, that's me. Tell them who bring the fire, say, yeah, that's me. Who make it flip, make it bang, ooh, yeah, that's me. Who make the party feel alive, tell them, yeah, that's me. Whoa. Yeah, ooh,
Yeah, that's me.
who that chillin' at the top?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah. Tell them, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm chillin' at the top. Ooh, yeah, that's me.
Woo! All right, I'm back with this live again. Let me know if the video is still like crap. If it is, then we won't do any more lives until I get the new computer in, which would be in between March 15th to March 22nd is what they said. So if the video is unbearable, if the audio starts crapping out, we'll just end it at that point. 1 second here. Oh, by the way, Mike Bothwell, your name has been noted, and I will be banning you from the channel. And I'm sure you'll make another account just to troll, because that's the only purpose you serve in this reality, which is to troll. And so I just wanted to let you know I will do everything I can to make sure you're not trolling like a freaking loser, because you, sir, are a fraud. In fact, I'm doubling down on this note right now. Freaking clowns. All right, cool. Anyways, friends, keep me posted as to what things are doing on the stream end for you guys, because if it is bad, we'll just end it, and that's that. We got the new computer coming. We're just waiting on it, and you know, it is what it is. As I was saying before, I had to end this to try restarting it to see if that would work and everything. I started having an issue where I can't even save my files on my recordings and stuff more than one time. So I can save the initial file, and then everything after that I can't save. So if I open up the file, start doing editing, and then I'm like, yawn, I'm tired, I want to go to bed. If I hit save, it won't save it. So I got to leave it open on the computer or start all over. So it just kind of sucks in that sense. It kind of kills my workflow when it comes to multitasking and working on shows that aren't going to be broadcast for a few weeks or something, because you kind of work on things, you know, like let me do 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, and all of a sudden you can't save anything. So you're like, okay, well, if I'm going to open this file and start working on it, I got to work on the whole thing and finish it now, or I forever hold my peace. So, you know, it's all part of the process. It's all part of, I guess, doing this stuff and trying to make sure it's all good to go. You got to upgrade the equipment, and that's what we're doing. So we're just waiting on it now. But once we have the new computer, we should be perfect for years to come. Listen, friends, there is a phone line you can call in and chat with me. Bring any topic you want to bring to chat with me. The phone is 512-866-7243. You can just call in to say hi. You can call in to bring a topic. Mike Bothwell, go ahead and give me a call. I would love to talk to you, you freaking loon. Yeah. So give me a call, guys, if you want to chat with me and stuff. So I started seeing people talking about the Squid Games. First of all, let me say this. I have no idea what's about to come out of my mouth when it comes to this. I didn't spend a whole lot of time thinking about it. I was supposed to be doing an interview right now, and the guy couldn't go because he had to work tonight. So here we are. I figured I'd do a live and try to hang out with you guys a little bit. But yeah. It's one of those things where I have mixed feelings about the whole Squid Games thing. So I get the sense that Squid Games is a lot like, what was it called? The Tiger King, where everybody in the world was, trying to watch Tiger King and trying to, let me see here for a second. Okay, we're good. Everybody in the world was starting to talk about Tiger King. I think that's what it was called, the Tiger King. And, it's like, all right, it must be really good if people are talking about it. So I tuned in and I wasn't very impressed. And then I'm like, well, maybe it just gets better as time goes on. Maybe, I guess. I don't know. So I'll just keep watching. And you get to the last scene of the last episode and you're like, surely this is the point where it gets really good. And this is why everybody's hyped up about it. And you're left kind of just thinking, did I really just watch all that for nothing? Because I was not impressed. And the first thing I noticed was that it was all dubbed. So it was filmed in, I think, Korea, judging by the content and everything. South Korea, I should say. I think it's probably obvious. But so I'm like, okay. And I watched like the first 15 minutes of the first episode and I was like, this is boring. Turned it off. And then, like, I swear, like, I turned on the video and audio's cutting out again, guys. That sucks. Hey, listen, if it gets really bad, just let me know and we'll cut this stream. I don't mind. It's not a big deal. Maybe I'll even take it to Instagram. I haven't done Instagram Live in a while. So where was it going with it? Oh, so 15 minutes in, I'm watching. I wasn't very impressed. And I actually turned it off. And then when I turned it off, like, I'm not, like, it's everywhere. Everywhere I'm looking, the guys were talking about Squid Games. And I'm talking about people on the internet, people on social media, the NBA. And I started thinking, I think this is a psyop. I think there's some kind of big money being pushed behind the scenes. And Squid Games needs to be pushed to the forefront for certain people to make certain money. I mean, it kind of fits the whole scene of the game anyways, right? Squid Games, a bunch of rich people behind the scenes making these people do some crazy stuff to win money. I feel like there was some kind of Squid Games going on with the actual stream on Netflix. And, when I see LeBron James doing a press conference and after he's done talking to the media, he stands up and then Anthony Davis runs up to him while the cameras are rolling. He doesn't even get off the stage. Like, it's not life or death. It's not like, hey, how was your daughter's birthday this past weekend? Or, anything like that. No, Anthony Davis runs up. They know the cameras are running. They know the mics are still running. And Anthony Davis runs up on stage. Everybody's watching him. And he's like, what'd you think about Squid Games? And LeBron, and LeBron's face, LeBron's acting on that stage was as good as it was in Space Jam 2. I'm sorry. Like, he's standing there, he's like, let me take my glasses off so you can see my eyes. He's like, oh yeah. I watched it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like he was like he was trying to be caught off guard. Like, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, Squid Games. Let me talk about that real quick. I'm so excited about Squid Games. And he's like, what do you think about the ending? And he's like, oh yeah, it was great. I think he should have went and saw his daughter though. And I'm just like, the ending, it seems like somebody's trying to get us to watch to the ending. And so I was just like, okay, so I did. And it worked on me, I guess, right? In a sense, because I was like, let me just check this out and see what this is. And I'm watching, and the whole time I'm not impressed, you know. And the whole time I'm thinking to myself, this is a freaking psyop. There is somebody that wants. There is a group, an organization of people who want this viewed. And why is that? And why is it that the NBA boys were pushing it too? There's a lot of things that get me, you know, my brain ticking on that. But why Squid Games? You know, why not something else? What is it about the Squid Games that makes people that's so important that everybody needs to see? Because certainly it wasn't for quality. Like I'm like, is anybody like? I mean, maybe it's just me, but to me it seems like that show. And it wasn't the dubbing, because I watch shows on dubbing. Like I actually kind of like that. It makes me feel like I found a gem of a underground type movie or TV show that nobody watches and stuff. But I'm watching it and I'm liking it and all that. Like what was it? The Thor show that was on Netflix not too long ago, or it's probably still on there. The kid, he becomes Thor and he's fighting the vampires, all that stuff. I dug it. I loved it. Was there dubbing? Of course. It wasn't the dubbing. It was just a crappy show. Like you could literally see what was coming step by step. It wasn't that hard to figure out. Like in the very first game, the old man who starts the whole march towards the green red light end line. I mean, I'm like, yo, like I knew that was gonna happen. It was so obvious, and so to me, I think that there's some group of people who are pushing that. And what is the reason for that? I want to hear your thoughts on that. If you have thoughts, give me a call, 512-866, is that? Yeah, 866-7243. I want to hear what your thoughts are on that idea, because when you look at the context, the content of that show and what they're doing, why is it important for that type of content to be pushed to the masses, to be a #1 show on Netflix? Like, do you think that having LeBron James and Anthony Davis standing at the end of a press conference talking about Squid Games, and then them talking about Squid Games on all the sports shows, didn't help push that show to astronomical levels? Of course it did. But in this world, nothing's for free. These people don't do this stuff for free. ESPN, what's the other one? Fox Sports, they don't do this stuff for free. When you see on ESPN a musician sitting around on ESPN all day on all the different shows and stuff, and they're giving their sports takes, but also talking about their new song that's coming out or their new album that's coming out, like ESPN didn't just decide, oh, we should have so-and-so on because I think it's a great idea. No, that artist, their group that's backing them, paid for them to be on ESPN all day to talk about it. You think they just want Kevin Hart on every program every day all day when he has a special coming out? You think it's just a coincidence? Like, let's throw Kevin Hart a bone. No. Kevin Hart paid to be on ESPN all day. So I'm willing to bet that Squid Games had some kind of monetary compensation thrown at ESPN for such things. All right, we got a caller here. Let's bring the caller on and hear what they have to say. Oh, actually, I think I just hung up on the caller. Hey, caller. I think it was Donnie Cho, actually. Oh, no. Here he is. Donnie, you there?
Hey, Tony.
There he is.
Yeah, man. Do you hear me okay?
I can hear you, man. I'm sorry. I thought I hung up on you.
Yeah, you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got to stand in one spot because my signal's pretty crappy here, but I'll do what I can.
Cool, man.
Okay, so I lived in Korea for like 10 years, and I know a bit about like Korean pop culture, and this to me seems like a lot of like what it is like what K-pop is, like Gangnam Style. So if I have to offer an alternative viewpoint, it seems like this is like the same thing as like what took Gangnam Style to the top as the craze in American pop culture. Like this is that all over again to me, as someone who kind of knows how like they try to market to people in terms of Korean entertainment.
So how does it go from a Korean entertainment to global entertainment like that? Is that just because of the way they market to the world?
Well, do you remember the whole Gangnam Style craze?
I mean, I remember the stupid song. I don't know how it came about.
Yeah, it just out of nowhere. It was like everywhere. And I remember growing up as a Korean from like the 1980s and the early 90s. Everyone in Korea kept talking about how like, oh, one day K-pop culture is going to take over the world and every country is going to have fans. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, as if, right? And then just out of the blue, like freaking Gangnam Style and K-pop and BTS like take over, and I'm like, holy crap! And I'm actually there at the when I was living in Korea. I actually taught some of these people, and I knew some of the people involved in the industry, and they seem to have this really weird way of marketing their pop culture out. It's like a form of propaganda.
How
Like, the Korean culture is very good at that.
so they take their culture, they find key aspects of it to exploit to the world. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. Like if you look at BTS, like I've met some diehard K-pop because I know you probably don't run in all the you probably don't know too many diehard K-pop fans, but I've met a few, and it is like it's some weird stuff. It's like on the level of obsession as like furries.
Is K-pop that
Like there are
is that
certain
does that
people
stand
that
for
are just
does K-pop stand for kitty pop? Is that the cat stuff?
no, it's Korean pop. It's
Oh yeah,
BTS.
that makes sense.
Um,
I just don't know what K-pop is. I
yeah,
guess if you I just don't know what it is. I guess I have no idea. So
and another big precursor to Squid Games was Parasite, that one Korean movie that won like all the Oscars. I
uh
don't know if you're familiar with that because I
no.
mean I don't really follow Oscars all that much as well, but there's Parasite, there's Squid Games, there's K-pop. Like you also have to consider that like a lot of it is the machine of the Korean pop entertainment industry. Like it's a real industry over there. I've seen it firsthand. I've talked to some of these people, and they're really good at churning this kind of stuff out.
Hmm. It's
And it
interesting.
works, much to my shock. Like
Yeah.
I'm sitting there shocked, like, man, that worked. There's all these people obsessed with it, and I'm looking at like all these people in America, all of a sudden kids singing K-pop, and I'm thinking to myself, man, 20 years ago when they were telling me K-pop was going to take over the world, I didn't think it was going to be true, but it kind of turned out to be true.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I guess I'm kind of out of tune when it comes to K-pop and all that stuff. But
Yeah, I meet so many random like housewives and middle-aged women who are like, "Oh my God, you're Korean! I love all these Korean dramas on Netflix. I sit there and watch them all day." And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess that's what they were aiming to do."
well, I mean, if it's pure marketing, then congratulations. I mean,
I'm telling you,
in all
they're real good at it. It's like the way Japanese people are with anime.
in all honesty, if it is just the marketing, like I need to get a hold of somebody who does that so I can learn and market better because I suck at marketing. Like, so
Like when
I
you
need to
talked
learn.
about that LeBron story, that was really weird. But then a lot of it, what I'm seeing is like the same thing I saw like 20 years ago with the Pokemon craze. It's like the same thing I saw like 25 years ago with like NSYNC. That's what I'm seeing when I see all this.
Now in sync, that
It's
was
like,
my
but people get brainwashed a different way, and it's very intentional. Like when I talk to some of these people who are behind the scenes planning out the trajectory of Korean pop culture's marketing, like they are very smart and savvy. They know what they're doing.
Sorry, I was drinking there. It seems like they know what they're doing,
Yeah.
and if it's pure marketing, brother, then it's pure genius. But I do have my suspicions as to other things as well because uh,
No, and what you told, because I didn't know about the LeBron thing. The LeBron story got me kind of suspicious. I was like, that's weird. But it could have also been like a marketing thing where he's like trying to look cool to the TikTok generation. Like I wouldn't discount that either.
No, and that's that. I mean, sure,
Like it's
that
like
would mean that
trendy to talk about. Like yeah. Sorry.
that would mean that LeBron James is on let me market myself to a specific audience mindset 24/7 all the time, because that happened so quick. The way that rolled out in that whole press conference. But
isn't that what kind of happens with a lot of these celebrities?
I mean, sure, but I mean that would mean that Anthony Davis just came walking up to him very organically and just decided that I need to talk to not in the locker room, not in the hallway. I got to run up to LeBron James in front of a bunch of cameras.
That bit you said, I was like, yeah, that seems really fishy and weird. That does seem weird.
And then on top of it, like maybe
very weird.
Maybe
I'm not going to lie about that.
And maybe it's not a group or organization behind the production side of Squid Games, but also the side of Netflix. So Netflix, one isn't like Netflix. Yeah, they're not producing a ton of American content anymore. I've talked to people behind the scenes at Netflix, and it's just for whatever reason, United States Netflix is just not selling a ton on their platform. So they kind of moved away from making originals. So if they're making originals through other cultures and countries, and they want to push it to the market of the United States, how do you do that? Through propaganda. And Mark what's his last name? The co-founder of Netflix. His great uncle was Edward Bernays, who is the father of propaganda. He wrote a book. I have it on my shelf behind me. He wrote a book on how he propagated the American public for fluoride and things like that.
A lot of Korean decision makers are very good at propaganda. I mean, look at North Korea. It's all propaganda.
Sure. Yeah.
Like, living there for 10 years, I can tell you this much. There is propaganda everywhere. Like, you think advertising and marketing is bad here. They shove it down your nose when you're living over there, like 24/7. It feels like RoboCop. Do you remember the original RoboCop movie?
I mean, barely. That came out when I was like in first grade, I think.
Do you remember how like OCP, the company that made RoboCop, like their logo was everywhere?
That would be something that I wouldn't remember, my man.
Like, so like the way like people know Samsung, for example, right? And they think of Samsung as just a company that makes phone, but over there they like own everything. They have like Samsung apartment buildings, Samsung brand houses, Samsung cars, Samsung food. Like, it feels like a dystopian future where the entire country is ruled by corporations. Like, if you want to know what that feels like, go over to like China, Japan, Korea. That's what you're going to see.
Interesting.
Like, you will see Samsung labels on like people's like clothes and like food and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
Yeah. I mean,
Go ahead.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, like, I didn't want to come off like I was disagreeing with you, because
No, you're fine.
I don't, because that, like, the stuff you offered about Anthony Davis coming up to him and whispering in his ear, that does sound awfully fishy to me. But at the same time, like, I just felt like I had to offer like a different point of view of that situation, because I know like how strong the Korean marketing machine is,
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. And like, of course, there's tons of other takes and opinions. I was just offering my suspicious side because I look at almost everybody in this world a little suspicious. I have very little trust for Donnie.
Yeah,
Donnie,
I actually think it's very valid too.
Yeah, no, Donnie, I know you. I personally know you, and I still don't trust you.
Yeah, I don't trust myself half the time, so you're probably right.
Oh man, listen, Donnie, I appreciate you calling, man. I do. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Thanks for having me, man. We'll talk later.
Absolutely, brother. Take care.
All right.
All right, let's see here. Drop call. I almost hit ban call on him. That would have sucked, huh? But yeah, no, that he brings up some interesting points there, and looks like I got another caller here. We'll get to you in a second here, caller. But no, Donnie did bring up some interesting points there that is very, I think valid. Let's go through some of these comments real quick here, because I saw, there it is. XD4RKS GameX, Game X. I don't know what kind of name that is, but I wanted to spell the whole thing out. Thanks for the super chat. They say, anyone else feel we're being conditioned to more Asian-centric culture because of maybe something sinister? I think you could make an argument for specific countries out of Asia, for sure. And that I'm not going to get too much further on that for obvious reasons when it comes to the YouTube overlords. So, yeah, but definitely, I think you could definitely make an argument for that. And certainly I have plenty of thoughts on that. But again, we're trying to be YouTube safe. Let's see here. Okay, so looks like we're caught up on the super chats here. Okay, let me bring in this one caller here. Looks like I got okay, here we go. I don't know. A little interesting on my phone board here, but caller 2919, what's up? Hello. Feel like they're not there. Weird. Okay, let me drop this call. And caller, if you want to call back, go ahead and call back. It looks like you called several times here. I don't know what the deal is, but if you call again, I'll try to pick up for you. But yeah, anyways, Dark Endgame. Thank you at Dark Endgame. Appreciate it. All right, let's try this caller one more time here. I don't know what's going on, but we'll try to bring the caller on here. Hello, you're talking to the Tony of the Confessionals. Can you hear me? No. It's weird. Oh, you know what? I it's my fault. I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Yeah, that's my fault. I'm sorry. I muted my speakers on this end.
Okay?
I on my end, if I don't turn the volume all the way down on my Skype, because I run this whole call center through my Skype. If I don't turn the volume down on Skype when I'm done talking to somebody, you have this like kind of like staticky sound in the background. And, you know, being somebody who's done audio for 5 years, I get a little grumpy when I have bad audio. So who am I talking to, man? What's up?
Howdy, Tony. This is Mason. I called to talk to you about Sasquatch.
Oh, okay. What's up? What talk to me about Sasquatch.
Alrighty. I suppose maybe you got some time for 2 quick encounter stories?
Quick stories.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Up in upstate New York, in whatchamacallit, I think it was Swan Lake in upstate New York. I went camping with my best friend and his dad, and as usual, he tried to scare us with midnight stories about Bigfoot. Now, keep in mind, we're in the middle of nowhere with no one with us, and then all of a sudden I hear something bipedal walk in, and I'm thinking maybe it's a heron. Well, the next thing I know, something's mulling around in our cans and stuff like that, and the most terrifying thing of my entire life happened, and it was, how do I put this? If you take a baseball glove and then multiply its size by like 5, that pushed in on the side of my tent. And I made a small gasp, and it took off.
That's classic, right? For Bigfoot activity.
Right. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I had no idea. This is the first time I've ever called anyone like this.
No, you're fine. I just, I'm waiting for the second story here, and then we can chat a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. So the second story was I was around like 9 years old, living in upstate New York still, and right down the road from me was, well, a lake, of course, and then the woods. And in the middle of the night, I'm dead asleep. The next thing I know is the strangest sound that I've ever heard wakes me up in the middle of the night. I have never been more terrified except for in that tent. Later on, I started listening to Wes's show, and he played the Sierra sounds, and those were the exact sounds I heard right down the street. And I'll never forget it. I ran up to my mom's room, and she goes, "What do you want me to do? Go outside and shoot it?"
So it sounded like the chatter?
Yeah, it sounded like the samurai chatter.
Really? Wow. So
It did, yeah.
you heard that inside though?
I heard that from inside my house, yeah.
Wow.
As if something was outside. And keep in mind, my house at the time was made almost entirely of windows, like huge bay windows for the front door and stuff like that. But where I was like a 10-foot drop to the driveway. So it could have been right below my window and I'd never have known it. But I could hear it clear as day.
That's crazy. I mean, that's super loud. I mean, for you to be able to hear it inside. Now, that was a one-off thing. You never heard that again inside the house?
Never heard it again. No.
Interesting. That is interesting. And your mom didn't really believe you. Did you ever talk to anybody else in the area that might have seen or heard anything similar?
I talked to my neighbors down the street, and they just kind of gave me a weird look and then went back inside. So I don't know if that tells you anything.
Well, that's enough to scare somebody into not talking about it anymore. That's for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I would. And
then
go ahead.
Real quick, I'm the Dark X Endgame guy, by the way. Just letting you know.
Oh well, thank you for the super chat, my friend.
No problem.
So why go with that name over Mason? You didn't like your birth name?
What, Dark X Endgame? It's from a friend years ago when we were playing video games.
I'm just playing around with you.
Or are you talking about Mason?
No, yeah, Mason. In fact, like, you know, I'm just messing. I'm just trying to clown you a little bit. But sometimes my dad jokes go over people's heads. So yeah, it's interesting though. You're especially, you know, like we've heard the pushing on tent thing a whole lot. Hearing the samurai chatter while you're inside your home is something I don't think I've ever heard before, which is, you know, do you think it was that close to you, or do you think it was that loud that you could hear it inside?
I think it was just that loud. I did forget to mention I did keep my windows open in the summer because we had no AC, but I don't know how to really judge distance on that when it literally sounded like as if it was in my room.
That's crazy. That's crazy, man. I don't know what to say other than that would be one hell of an experience that I wouldn't want to have as a kid. That's for sure. I mean, I'm assuming it was a long while until you heard those samurai chatters to kind of connect the dots.
Oh my God, yeah. It was, I think, 2016 is when I found Wes, and I think it was a year before I caught up to the show that actually had the samurai chatter.
Yeah,
so about 2017 is when I heard it, and I heard this back in like 2009, 2010.
Yeah, it's a long time to live with that sound and not really know what the heck it was.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, Mason, I appreciate the call, man, and the little Bigfoot stories. I want to get to this UFO stuff before I end the live stream.
I feel it. No problem. You have a good night, Tony.
All right, brother.
Good talking to you.
Yeah, you too, man. You too. Thanks for calling.
Of course. Thank you. You have a good night, man.
See ya. All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, listen, if I had heard that samurai chatter while I was in my house, I think I would freaking freak out, because I would probably think that it was right outside my window. I mean, if you're hearing it like that, I mean, like he said, most of his house, there's a lot of glass, so maybe it was thinner, but still, I mean, it would give the idea and thought that it's right there, and it would have freaked me out. So yeah, crazy. What are you guys talking about? Me grabbing the mic? I always grab the mic. I always hold the mic. I mean, I move around a lot, so I've always gotten used to over the years, because I talk right into my microphone. I don't really I don't do this whole thing where you can barely hear me because I'm moving around a lot like this. I keep the microphone right in front of my mouth so that when I'm talking to somebody, there's consistency in my audio. So yeah. I would bust out my Google Translate. Yeah, that's interesting, Donnie. Oh, freaking Donnie. Let's see here. All right, let me pull up this article here. So, by the way, if you guys want to talk about me holding the mic, look at the freaking mic stand I have. Tell me about the mic stand that I have right now. This mic arm that I have. First person to tell me where they saw this mic arm before wins. What do you win? Nothing, but you win. Drop it in the chat here, the live chat, if you've seen this mic arm somewhere else. Surely some of you have seen it somewhere else, because I saw it somewhere else and I needed a new mic arm. I was like, let me get that. All right. This is from The Sun. It's very interesting. UFOs could actually be alien technology from parallel universes, NASA chief claims. I found this really interesting, this article, for the psychological involvement it has on the general public. The idea of UFOs being from parallel universes is something that I don't think any of us is very foreign to. We understand a lot more than the general public how crazy this world is, how bizarre it is. And RRA entry TAC says, Joe Rogan, you are right, my friend. You are right. Joe Rogan just upgraded his mic arms to these in his studio, and it just so happens I was in the market for a new mic arm, so I decided to get quality. So I'm very, very happy with it. It will be around for many years. So I'm not oblivious to the fact that you guys listening, myself, we all are much, I think, more open-minded and further along than the general public is. So this article, this person talking here, isn't meant for you, and it's not meant for me. Like they would just be talking to somebody who is like well beyond the scope of what they're trying to put out for people. So who is it for? It's for the general public, the public that maybe is still on the edge of disbelief when it comes to these things and what's real. And you have to ask yourself questions like, why is it important, of all the things in the world, to talk about so nonchalantly, even though it's such a big deal? Why is it this? I mentioned a few weeks ago on the show that it's the whole UAP crap. I don't do it. We call it UFOs because that's what it's been called for ages. We're not going to let the powers that be come in and start changing the names to claim it as their own and sound like they're on top of things. Listen, yeah, they've been on top of things for a long time, but they have not disclosed to the mass public for a very long time. And then there's a very small amount of people who have been on top of things for a very long time within the governments. For the most part, people working within the government and obviously the general public thought that UFOs, the idea of extraterrestrial life, was a laughing thing. It was something for, conspiracy theorists. It was something meant for, the fringe crazy stuff. And now they're trying to usher it in as mainstream kind of thing. Like, oh yeah, this is completely normal and stuff. And let's tell you about UAPs. And then everybody's ears want to perk up because it's not being called UFOs. No. So UFOs could be alien technology from parallel universes, according to Bill Nelson, the administrator of NASA. Ding, ding, ding. Why is there the administrator? I don't know what kind of title that is, by the way. The administrator. Okay. I mean, are we talking about the guy who runs the whole place? I didn't look him up or anything, but anyways, Bill Nelson, the administrator of NASA, says that alien technology from parallel universes could be what the UFOs are. And like, why? Well, let me just keep going here. I've talked, this is Bill Nelson talking. I've talked to those military pilots, and they know they saw something and their radar is locked in onto it. Nelson, 79 years old, revealed to a crowd at his alma mater, the University of Virginia, UFOs could actually be alien technology from parallel universe. Let's see here. I'm trying to scream down here. Okay, so he continued, as they don't know what it is. Hold on a second. And they don't know what it is, and we don't know what it is. We hope it's not an adversary here on Earth that has that kind of technology. Nelson noted that while he may not know what it is out there, he knows that it is something. And then he continues, now the question becomes, who is out there? Who are we? How did we get here? How did we become as we are? How did we develop? How did we civilize? He added. There is a lot of mind games, if you want to even say propaganda, going on in this little bit of a piece here. And I honestly don't even really know exactly how to corner it down other than to call it what it is and know when you smell horse crap, if you smell dog crap, if you smell dog crap, that smell, you can identify, you're like, I've smelled that before, just like your grandma's favorite dish that she makes and you absolutely love it. You're like, grandma's cooking tonight. I love it. You smell things that you recognize. I smell propaganda here. I've smelled this before. And he when he says, and they don't know what it is, and we don't know what it is, we hope it's not an adversary here on Earth that has that kind of technology. That statement right there is a conditioning statement. It's a conditioning statement because it conditions you to believe that the people that are, which is a very common misperception, the government is not here to protect you. The government is here to protect your constitutional rights. The government is here to protect the Constitution. Okay? They're not here to protect you. By protecting the Constitution, you are the result is that you are protected to certain extents. I'm not going to go down that road. Oh, man. See, this is the kind of live stuff that I was worried about. I wind up saying stuff that's going to get me kicked off of YouTube. So this is a conditional statement here. He says they don't know what it is, meaning the government. And we don't know what it is. All right, meaning NASA. So I'm assuming he's meaning NASA and the government, or maybe even foreign governments. I don't know. But he's saying that the higher ends, the higher people that are running things in this world don't know what it is. We hope it's not an adversary here on Earth that has that kind of technology. So now we are taking this perception of the administrator of NASA saying, yes, UFOs are real. We believe that they're from parallel universes. And then he says, and we hope it's not an adversary here on Earth. And that's kind of with that kind of technology. So it's now playing this leveling game. So now you have adversaries here on Earth, and you have the idea of something coming through from a parallel universe through a portal or some kind of means of being able to do so. And we're now ranking and scaling what's more threatening. So they're saying that in this statement here, it's conditioning you to believe that they'd almost prefer it to be something from a parallel universe that is unknown versus an adversary here on Earth. Why in the world would you say that? Why in the world would you condition people to think that's feasible? That's a good idea. I'm not saying that all ET, all extraterrestrial, all parallel universe, whatever, is here to bite our heads off and try to kill us and probe everybody, give everybody the butt stuff. But like, why on earth when you're talking about something that you're acknowledging as an unknown, that you believe is something, but you have no idea what it really is, would you put it on a scale of almost like we prefer this thing that comes through portals from an unknown universe, a parallel universe that we have no idea how to access. We prefer that over an adversary that we understand here in this realm. We prefer the unknown. Like maybe I'm jaded from Hollywood. I'm sure I'm a little jaded from Hollywood. Let me see here. Let me approve some of these comments here. Give me that butt stuff. Okay, I'll approve that. If alien tried to probe my butt, it would find poop. Okay, Johnny, I'll put that in there too. Why not? Give everybody the butt stuff. Okay. So YouTube filter stuff, friends, and I try to approve it as it comes through. So there you go. But does that make sense to anybody? Like, I'm trying to convey my thoughts here as much as possible to you guys. Like, to me, there's a conditioning going on here, where like a ranking conditioning. Like, what would you rather, an adversary here on Earth, or an unknown species, thing, entity that knows how to access our universe and our dimension, but we don't know how to access theirs, and we don't know what it is or what its intents are? What would you rather? And he says, essentially, I would rather have the unknown. That makes no sense to me. And I don't believe that they don't know what these things are, by the way. Okay, I think that's a game they've been playing for a long time. First it was, you're crazy. Then it was, okay, yeah, people are seeing things. Then it was, we have in our possession crafts that weren't made here on Earth that nobody blinked at. You know, like it's all a conditioning game. So Nelson noted that while he may not know what is out there, he knows that something is. Like, no kidding, dude. Like, anybody who wants to source this article, you can. I put the link in the description of this video. While you're here, please, whether you like it or not, you're here. You're wasting. If you don't like it, you're wasting your time listening to me. Might as well give me a thumbs down while you're here. But if you're liking what I'm doing and stuff, give me a thumbs up. Comment something in the chat or the comment section that helps algorithms, crap like that, I guess. But yeah, at least give me a thumbs up. It's at least you can do if you like what we're doing. So Nelson noted that while he may not know what is out there, he knows that it is something. No kidding, bro. No kidding. Like, I think that there's a waning number of people in this world that don't believe there's just nothing out there. Like, you don't need to be a theist to believe that there's something out there, right? Is that a fair statement to say? Like, you don't need to be a God-fearing person to believe that there's something out there. I mean, atheists believe that there's something out there in the universe, right? Maybe not a Godhead, maybe not a God, maybe not even entities as in spiritual entities, but I'm sure you're going to find a lot of atheists that believe there's something out there, because the idea of UFOs and the prevalency of videos and pictures popping up, people's encounters, how many people that are atheists have had encounters you just can't explain, so much stuff. Like, no kidding, bro. No kidding. Thanks for catching up. Donnie Cho, thanks for the super chat, man. Seriously, why do we assume all different types of UFOs are part of the same alien race or agenda? I agree. And that's the same thing with so many of these different topics and subjects, friends. Like, it's too easy to say Bigfoot, Dogman, ghosts, alien, demon. Like, it's too easy to categorize everything as one individual thing. But when you hear people talk about their experiences with such things, these things are giving off characteristics and traits and are doing things that you hear in other people's experiences that are not on the same topic, which tells you that things overlap. There is a mixture between these topics and these thoughts and things like that. Anyways, so Nelson says, now the question becomes, who is out there? Who are we? How did we get here? How did we become as we are? How did we develop? How did we civilize? Like, that's a lot of like philosophical questions, even borderline theological questions that he's deriving from acknowledging that UFOs are coming from parallel universes. Like, who is out there? Who are we? How did we get here? How did we become as we are? How did we develop? How did we civilize? Like, I feel like, Mr. Nelson is about to sign a contract with Gaia TV. Like, my goodness, man. Like, he's like the next John Greer. It's a conditioning game to get you starting to think along these lines so that they can be positioned to tell you who you are, who is out there, how did you get here, how did you become as you are, how did you develop, how did you become civilized. It's a conditioning game. It's a conditioning game, and they're setting the stage for the next step. And again, ask yourself, why this topic? Of all the topics in the world, why is it that UFOs and things like that are now being chosen to be pushed to the forefront? You guys that are watching this and stuff, most of you, I would assume, believe that Bigfoot exists. Why not Bigfoot? Like, we know that I'm not saying the president wakes up every day and gets a briefing as to where all the Bigfoot activity is. Like, that's definitely not what happens. But there is at least shadow organizations that are operating, keeping track of things like that. And they do believe that these things exist. So why is it that not Bigfoot, not Dogman, UFOs and aliens? Is it because it's more consumable? Is it more reasonable? Is it easier for them to present to the general public, get them believing it, and then manipulate them through that? Maybe. That might be a very big piece of it, actually. It's easier to talk about lights in the sky than a monster in the woods. It would be easier probably to get people to believe in the lights in the sky and what you tell them it is. You know? Eric Boyd, what's up, man? Eric Boyd's going to come over to my house in like a week or so, and he's going to help me fix my wall. I got, what was it? Probably like a month or two ago, we got some serious rain damage from a storm that came through. And my house got hit pretty hard, and Eric's going to help me fix some of the damage. So shout out to Eric Boyd. Eric Boyd, man, I'll let it go at that because I would love to talk about what you and I have talked about, but I don't know who else is going to be watching this stream, so I don't want to get you in trouble. But yeah, so I just find it interesting because, again, it just kind of falls in line with this idea of there's some kind of conditioning going on here, and you have to have your head on a swivel to understand that, to guard against the next step of this whole conditioning process. Right now, they're conditioning the world to UFOs existing. So that's what, excuse me. That's what this is all about. Like, it didn't start out with, hey, we are in possession of craft that were not made here on Earth. That came out last year. Nobody blinked at it. It started in 2017 when they started leaking these videos saying, yes, we have these videos of craft that we have no idea where they're coming from. And they leaked that out, and it just flies under the radar. So they kind of let it sit for a while, and then they drop those videos again in like late 2019, I think it was, maybe early 2020. And then everybody starts going crazy about videos that have been out for like 2-3 years. They're conditioning people to the idea that, yeah, there's something out there. Then they vamp it up, and they say we're in possession of craft that were not made here on Earth. And again, nobody really even blinked at that. Why? Because we were in the middle of a crazy world. And And so I think this is like the next, like another piece of it. I wouldn't say next piece, but another piece of it. You know, you have the administrator of NASA, whatever the heck that means. The administrator of NASA coming forward and saying these things, getting people to question, you know, who we are, and all these philosophical questions that, you know, if I walk into NASA and start talking to the employees about these philosophical questions and stuff, they'd be like, oh, here's one of those freaking theist freaks. Am I right? Am I right? I mean, how many decades went by where people who are God-fearing people were looked at as clowns by scientific communities? And now the scientific communities are talking about parallel universes. Who is out there? Who are we? How did we get here? How did we become as we are? How did we develop? How did we civilize? They're not talking about evolution. There's no need to present these questions if you're just talking about evolution, because evolution is still a theory. I'm just saying. Okay? I don't know everything. But it seems to me like they're trying to get people to start thinking more along the lines of a spiritual level, but with a very intent guide as to the direction they want people thinking. It's just frustrating because I know that there's a lot of people that are going to be watching people like this talk, and they're going to get sideswiped. You know, like they're going to just fall hook, line, and sinker for everything that these scientists say. When we've been out here for how long? I mean, people have been here for how long talking about this stuff? And you, every single one of you watching me, every single one of you watching me right now, including myself, has been made fun of, shouted down by people in your life whenever you talk about this kind of stuff throughout your life. Now, granted, if you're 12 years old, maybe not. If you're a young buck, maybe you haven't experienced something like that. But anybody who's 20 years old or older, come on now. Come on now. You know what I'm talking about. You've expressed your thoughts on these matters, and your friends, co-workers, people laughed at you, told you you're crazy. So the government comes in and they take that very topic that everybody thinks it calls you crazy, and they flip it on its head. At the same time, I gotta be careful what I say here. At the same time, they do this where they're coming in and taking this whole thought process underneath their wing. They still are shouting down louder than ever conspiracy thoughts. I mean, can you not see the psyop here? Oh, it's funny. It's funny. It's silly. Can be a little frustrating. Yeah. I mean, all right. So if anybody says to you that they don't believe in conspiracy theory, like just make like a extraterrestrial and probe them a little bit on it, because that statement is very surface level. All you got to do is I say to them, so you believe everything that your government has ever told you about everything? That they've never lied to you about anything? Just probe a little bit. Because it's silly. It's silly. Let's. All right, guys, listen. If you want, give me a call real quick. If you want to hop in on the phone lines, it's 512-866-7243. That's 512-866-7243. It's right there at the top right-hand corner of your screen. Give that number a call. You'll pop up in my call log here, and I can bring you on and chat with you. Give me a thumbs up if you're digging the content. If you're just tuning into the live, if you didn't catch the beginning, I am going to be having a better stream here in a few weeks because I purchased a new computer. Finally, I bought this computer in 2013. I rebuilt it one time, and it's on its last legs. It's dying on me, so I had to buy a new computer, but it will not be here until November 15th through November 22nd. And once I get the new computer, I got to get all new plugs and hookups for all the wires behind everything and my mixer board and everything else. So I imagine I'll be spending a couple $100 just on wires. But it will be worth it in the end if I can have a smooth stream, because I imagine this has been pretty choppy for you guys because I'm looking at my monitor and it looks a little choppy on my end. So I apologize for that. And if you're still here tuning in, listening, and hanging out with me, I appreciate the sacrifice you make for awful video content and maybe even audio content and maybe even content. Maybe the content isn't that great, but be nice. Hit the thumbs up. If you're wasting your time watching this right now, at least you can do is hit that thumbs up and show your appreciation for me boring you half to death. All right, friends. Listen, I think it's interesting, and we should have our ears perked up about it. Let's read a little bit here because I find this interesting as well. Recently, former Air Force chiefs publicly attested to U.S. nuclear-based facilities and weapon systems being tampered with by aliens. Several claim to have been previously silenced after their startling UFO encounter. Among the victims was former U.S. Air Force Captain Robert Salas. He stated that in March 24th, 1967, I wanted to make sure we got to this point. He stated that on March 21st, 1967, every intercontinental ballistic missile at the Underground Launch Control Facility in Malmstrom Air Force Base. Forgive me, military people watching right now. I don't know what that is called, and I'm probably butchering the name. But they became unusable. He and others have since called on Congress to investigate the claims of UFOs tampering at multiple underground launch sites. In the coming days and months, I think we will, this is him speaking, by the way, I think we will have to deal with this reality because there is an abundant and sober evidence, past and present, for the reality of unidentified aerial phenomenon, also known as unidentified flying objects, UFOs, Captain Salas stated at a press conference at Washington, D.C. National Press Club. He added, It is undeniable. It is not swamp gas or any other quirk of nature. Yeah, so what I wanted to say here is just to highlight the date 1967. Like 1967. You know? Over 50 years ago, this event happened. Not to mention Roswell. There's been a constant cover-up over this stuff. They know way more than they're saying they know. And what's the purpose of bringing it to the spotlight now? They know the answers. They know what these things are. They've had way more resources, way more time than any of us to look at this stuff. They've been doing it since it started happening with infinite amount of resources. They know what this stuff is. So why not cover it up anymore? Why actually acknowledge? Even if it's hard to deny because of all the videos out there. Like, even if it's hard to deny, we have seen our government and governments throughout the world deny things that were blatant lies. It's not hard for them to do that. So what's the point of acknowledging this now? After 50 plus years since 1967 of covering this up. These are things you got to ask yourself because they're playing a psyop right now. It's a big psyop, and they're conditioning and gearing people to think a certain way, view these things a certain way, call these things UAPs. They own you when you start calling it UAPs, because now you've entered in through their doorway. You've entered their ring. They built a nice little happy playground for you to come and play in, and you've accepted those terms when you start calling it UAP. When they call these things UAPs, they are literally referring to UFOs. But if they call it UFOs, then now they're coming on your playing field. Now they're coming into your house. Now they're coming into the playground that's been sitting there for decades that they refuse to acknowledge even existed. They don't want to acknowledge that it existed, so they build their own playground for you to come play in, where that you can play on their terms. I get so frustrated with this kind of stuff. It's just very frustrating because I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I wouldn't say I'm stupid either. And what I see happening through media and these kind of pieces, this propaganda, is they're just saying you're an idiot. Like all of you are completely stupid. You're morons. You're not going to get it. You're not going to catch on. And we can do and say whatever we want because you're stupid. You're a brainwashed buffoon moron that we control mentally, and we can do and say whatever we want to, and you're just going to accept it. You're going to ask for more. Well, with those frustrations, friends, I think I'm going to wrap things up here. We don't got any more callers. I appreciate those who did call. Let me end this call line real quick before it costs me any more money, I should say. Confirm and end. Okay. Now, I appreciate anybody who kind of hung out here and just watched this random rambling rant. There we go. I think I said it right the first time. I was supposed to do an interview tonight, got canceled. I decided I was going to go live and hang out with you guys instead then. And so I read this article earlier today. I figured I'd talk about it. We talked about Bigfoot. We talked about these UFOs. What did we talk about in the beginning? Something else. I forget. But I do appreciate you guys. One last time, give me a quick thumbs up if you haven't already. If you're watching right now and you're not satisfied with the content, then give me a thumbs down, because thumbs down help me too. Like it's so funny. People that leave thumbs down and they're like, oh yeah, let me hurt them. Give me a thumbs down. That's not how YouTube works. YouTube works on interaction. And so your interaction helps me, whether it's you give me a thumbs down or give me a thumbs up, whether it's you commenting saying how much you love whatever I just posted, or you commenting saying how much you hate me. YouTube doesn't care about the thumbs up versus thumbs down. They just care about interaction, and they're going to push the interaction, because the more interaction that this video gets, the more they are compelled to push it, because it shows that, hey, this is getting traction, so let's push it to see if we can get more traction on it, because all they care about is the advertisers. So all the people who give me the thumbs down, first of all, if you're one of those frauds that give a thumbs down before a video even starts, stop being a loser. Stop following me. If you just want to follow me to hate me, stop being a loser. But you're not going to stop being a loser, because that's what you are. So just carry on, my trolling fraud. But all the other people that are not frauds, give me a thumbs up. I'm trying my best. I'm going to be trying to do more of these live streams, especially once I get the new computer. Once I get the new computer all set up and everything, I plan on starting that voicemail call-in show, which will be live here on YouTube. I got the Legion of Legends is going to be changing. The Legion of Legends you guys know so far on YouTube is going to change to a different name, because what I just did in Kentucky that's being produced right now is on such a higher level than anything that I could have put out on my own, that I don't want to degrade what we're about to put out with the same name as what I've put out with the production value that I do on my own. So me and Jack got to find a new name for our action vlogging type videos, because the documentary we're coming out with that we plan on doing more of from Kentucky and around the country, that's Legion of Legends. That's on a whole other level. Donnie Cho says, if you start an army, can I be one of your lieutenants? Sure, Donnie, but not planning on starting an army. You're going to try getting me kicked off with that kind of commentary? Jeez. No, but I yeah, I forget what I was talking about. Oh, yeah, Legion of Legends. So, Legion of Legends, what you guys know and have come to understand, is going to change names to something else, because the documentary that we're coming out with, that's going to be Legion of Legends, and it's going to, like, you're going to see the total advancement of production value and content value. You guys are going to freaking love it. And so yeah. So anyways, Legion of Legends on that's coming out, and then we got to come out with a new video series title for what me and Jack do. The voicemail show is going to be coming here. Still doing the confessionals here. I plan on doing storytelling on here, where I take episodes that I've done and summarize what we covered and tell a story that's only like maybe 10, 15 minutes long. Maybe I do more stuff that hasn't been talked about on the show, but I tell some crazy stories. I like the idea of storytelling for YouTube. So yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on, a lot of irons in the fire here. So if you at least respect the effort, then if you respect the effort, then disrespect the like button and freaking just give it a good elbow right there. Just smack that elbow right there on the thumbs up, beat it, abuse that thumbs up. Let's see here. Some of these things I can't even really go down. All right. Oh, look at that. Wombat 360. Shout out to you. Thanks for the super chat, friend. For your wires. I appreciate that. I wish I could be on your show. I have a good story. Wombat, the process is set at the beginning of every show, man. Just shoot me an email. I appreciate the super chat. I really do. Overbuilt Automotive. Question, Tony. Ever thought about doing a Brushy Mountain prison in Petros, Tennessee? That's my area. No, I haven't ever thought about that. Okay, guys. I appreciate the love and support, Wombat. I appreciate the super chat. The last minute super chat right there. I do appreciate it. But look at that. I'm looking at it right now. We have current viewers, 73, and we have 82 likes. Now that is ratioing the like button, and I appreciate that, friends. I don't know what else I could say. I mean, we have less viewers than we have likes. I like that. I'll read this real quick here. Playbacks was 794. I have no idea what that means. I'm assuming people who hit play. And the average watch time, how long have I been doing this? An hour and 13 minutes. The average watch time is 5 minutes and 41 seconds. So what does that tell you? It tells you people are interested, but they're not captivated. So I got to work on captivating my audience. I'll get better at it. But yeah. All right, friends. Maybe I'll do another live this week, next week, but it all depends on how I feel my computer's running in the moment, because my computer sucks. So a couple weeks from now, we'll have a new computer and new wires, thanks to Wombat 360, and we'll be cooking some serious stuff at that point. All right, guys. I'm ending this. See ya. Oh, wait a second. Actually, hang on a second. Let me see if I can do. Oh, I didn't set it up. Shoot. Okay, I'm just going to end it. Love you guys. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.